Hi guys, we had caught some Bonito Tuna today, so we'll show you how to prepare this for Japanese cooking. Japanese love fresh seafood, and what Japanese say is that each fish has got its own flavor. And when you add too much spice onto the fish, it actually masks the flavor of the fish and it will make all fish taste the same. So they try and eat the fish normally raw and really fresh, or they cook it with minimal spices to make the fish's taste stand out. So we'll see how to fillet this for Japanese cooking. So you'll need two knives, basically one for boning, and you'll need a knife for filleting. If you use the filleting knife for boning, what will happen is you'll end up making the knife blunt, because normally the filleting knives are quite thin and sharp. So we need to be using two knives, the boning knife and the filleting knife. So I'll show you how to get this clean. Plus get the slime off the fish. So wash it and just wipe it with a paper towel or a cloth and take all the slime off, or just run the knife on top to get the slimy coat off. So first I'll take the boning knife and I'll go under the fin and I'll actually cut it cross towards the head, so that way I'm not wasting much of the meat. And again, I'm just trying to find a soft spot there. Once you find the soft spot, your knife will actually glide through. So now we've gone through that. So we're gonna do the same thing here. Just cut it in an angle, pushing it towards the head. And once we've cut this part, what we'll do is we'll also cut the stomach and try and take all the gut cavity out. Actually, if you have the time, if you want to prepare the fish for Japanese cooking, the best way would be to actually get this cleaned in the boat itself. But sometimes you might be in rough seas and cleaning that might be a little bit complicated. So those times, bring it back to the shore and get it cleaned as soon as possible, because all that gut cavity and all that can end up building bacteria in the fish and can actually change the taste. So I'll get this fish washed and cleaned and I'll get the gut cavity out. And also for Japanese cooking, since you're going to be eating it raw or with minimal cooking with minimal spices, I would suggest that you actually ice the fish as soon as possible. So we have a concept called as ice slurry. So it's nothing but using ice, some salt, and little bit of salt water. So as soon as you catch the fish, you cut it in some area and let it bleed. So let all the blood go out. Otherwise, the blood can cook the fish to a certain percentage. So it will actually make the taste different. So it's better to bleed the fish and then put it in the mixture, which is made out of ice, little bit of salt, and a couple of cups of salt water. So now I've taken the head part out. So we'll use it for fish curry or something, so we won't waste the head also. Now we'll take this fish and we'll get it cleaned. So we've cut the top fin and the rest will come out when we are actually filleting the fish. So now before we start filleting it, what we'll do is we'll actually take the fish and there'll be a blood line right under the bone. So we'll try and scrape it off and wash it under the water, as this can make the meat taste bitter when eating raw. So either with your finger or knife, just score it through, and under running water, just run your fingers through slowly and get all the blood out of the meat. As you can see, the most of the blood is off. Now we'll go into the procedure on how to actually fillet the fish. So now washed it really well. So we're gonna fillet the fish. So just make a small cut right above the central bone and extend that cut all throughout till the tail. And once you've got this, slowly score through the flesh part right above the bone. So you'll actually feel the knife gliding above the bone. So what we're doing is we're just taking the top fillet part first, and then we'll show you how to fillet the bottom part of the fish. So now that you've cut through the center of the bone, you'll feel that the bone will actually become into two from the stomach section, because still here it's just a single big bone, and in the stomach area we'll see that it actually splits into two. So once you've reached the center of the bone, you go into the bottom and make a cut, and then you hold that tail bit and you glide your filleting knife through the fish slowly, just bouncing off the bone. And that's the reason why we use a filleting knife that's really thin, so you actually feel the knife gliding through the bone and when it's bumping into the bone. So just glide it above the bone, don't get into the bone. So now we've got the first fillet piece. So we'll wash it well. And we'll keep this aside. And we'll do the same procedure on this side of the fish. So we'll just cut through the tail, make a small slit, and then hold that skin part and then glide the knife through the fish. Now we've got the second fillet as well, and we have separated the center main bone from the fish. So we're taking the first fillet that we've got, and we'll see how we can remove the skin out of this fish. So to remove the skin, so we'll go from the tail end. So first you just score through the skin and you will feel like you're holding on to a piece of leather. So hold on to that skin and glide the knife through. And as you're gliding a knife through, keep moving your left hand or the hand which you're not using the knife closer to the end of the blade. So that way you've got a bit of grip and you know that you're actually cutting through the meat and taking the skin part away. Then now you've taken the skin part off and you've got a beautiful fillet. So the top part is best suited for sushi and sashimi because the bottom part might still have some small bones. Like I said, the bottom part has got like the stomach area, so they have double bones. So you can either pull them with your hand or use tweezers and you can remove them as well. if you spend a little bit of extra time, you can actually use the bottom part also for sushi and sashimi. Also, there's a blood line in the center and some bones. So we'll just fillet it right above the bone junction area. And we've got the top part of the first fillet. And now we'll cut the center blood line. You will see that the shade of this part of the fish will be a little dark, and that can taste a bit bitter. When you put some spices and fry it up, you won't notice it much. But when you're going to eat it raw, obviously it will make a big difference. So we don't want to be using it for Japanese sushi and sashimi recipe. So we'll put that aside, and we can fry it up later with spices if needed. So we've got two beautiful pieces that we can slice up for some fresh sashimi and sushi. So we'll do the same with the other piece. And now that we've got this beautiful piece here, so we'll cut this up. To cut it up, we need to go against the grain. So you'll see grains running on the actual flesh. So you need to go away from the grain. If you cut it this way, you're cutting it with the grain. So you go the other way against the grain. So we're just cutting against the grain. And you can see that the knife is gliding through the flesh like butter. And sashimi has to be had really fresh. So please make sure that it's either caught by you or someone you know, and it's within a day or two, and it's properly preserved on ice. Otherwise, there could be some bacterial buildup on the meat, and you can get an upset stomach. So we'll serve it with wasabi and soy sauce. You get these in most of the big supermarkets. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to our channel for more updates.